you could make as much money as you humanly could, or however, just make billions of dollars. But if you physically can't do what you really want to do, you won't be happy.
It's the Health in the Real World podcast. It's time to start the show with Chris Janke as your host. Here to give you everything that you need when it comes to fitness strategies. We keep it simple and easy. It's your roadmap to get healthy. You don't need equipment and you don't need a gym. Just the right strategies to get you fit and trim.
The Health in the Real World podcast is sponsored by most exercises and workouts, whether they be running, biking, elliptical, rowing machine, traditional weightlifting, or even CrossFit, do not give you a balanced workout. And when you do workouts that neglect even one area, you're out of balance, resulting in pain and injury as well. Achieve your goals with the fitness program your chiropractor would love. Visit chrisjanke.com/pod to watch the free video. Hello and welcome to Health in the Real World. I'm Chris Janke and I'm joined today by Dorian Lam. Now, this podcast is called Health in the Real World, and I really like Dorian's solution to a real world problem that he was facing, and I'll let him talk a little bit about that in a minute. But Dorian, how's it going? Thanks for coming.
Good, Chris. Thanks for having me. I'm excited about this.
Let's first set the stage as far as just who you are, what you do, and then we can dive into this story.
Yeah. So as you said, I'm Dorian Lam. I'm an owner of a company called Cornerstone Land Abstract. We're a boutique title company in New York City, and we handle real estate transactions, and we help developers on the commercial side and even owners or investors on the residential side with their closings. And we make sure that what they're buying is actually something that can be sold.
Okay, so in the real estate industry, title company, you're a busy guy. You're networking all the time. And I know realtors, title companies, I know you guys aren't keeping like only 9 to 5 hours. I'm sure you're working like, well into the night. You're waking up early morning sometimes. You have maybe occasionally even have to work weekends. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, you hit it right on the head, right? Our job is not, finished when the clock hits 5. A big part of what I do, especially in sales and business development, is meeting with people after hours and building relationships. Because like anything else, real estate is very heavy on relationships, and business is driven that way. So there's a lot of time spent from the business development side, especially as an owner, to develop as many relationships as possible.
And you sort of found yourself in like just the default, right? Like people would just go out for drinks after work, and you started to see like, well, this is becoming a problem because it's affecting my health. So that's where I thought your story was really good, because it's health in the real world. Your real world is you're consistently networking with people, and you found that just, again, the default for realtors or title company execs or whoever was like, hey, let's just go get some drinks. And, even 1-2 drinks every day, that starts to add up and cut into your workout time. Go through that story a little bit. This is a great story, and how you solved this issue.
Yeah. So, like aside from running a company and having a family and having the responsibility of, driving as much business as possible into not just our company, but just even for our industry as a whole, is to make sure that there's a lot of connectivity going on between all the players that are in it. And a big part of that is based around networking events or industry conferences. And what you realize is that in the after hour of elements of it, or just say after the general sessions at conferences, almost all networking or almost all the social events were based on drinking or lavish dinners, or some late night visit a concert and so on and so forth. And I'm not against fun, so I don't want to come off that way. I'm more than happy to have fun, but when you're doing it every day, and when you're doing it in a way that it allows you to develop bad habits, or another way of looking at it is not forming good habits, such as keeping our health and fitness and wellness in mind, working out, getting some movement in, getting the meditation in, making sure you're grounded, engaging your parasympathetic system. All of that goes out the window, right? I mean, you start off with 1 drink, it becomes 3, and then of course, naturally you're grabbing a bite, and that comes with drinks. And it's not only just centered around drinks. Even if you don't drink, you're out late, you're not getting a good night's rest, you're not getting the foundation for the next day, you're not getting the recovery that your body needs, and it affects your performance in the long run. And it really came, to an inflection point when I started having kids, and you realize how little energy you have, and that you have to be very conserved with your energy. Number one, focused in terms of how you use it, and then also you have to really spend time on being as optimal as possible, and in order to maintain that level of performance. So a lot of that is associated with having proper diets, making sure you're getting your movement in, making sure you're doing the things that are good for you, functionally, and mobility, all those things. And you can't do that when you're out at a bar, having drinks, or even out at the cafe having coffee at 6 p.m. Right? It's counterproductive, and you end up, or at least in my example, finding that you decide to skip out on the workouts, and you just miss the whole day of doing what you had originally planned as a routine.
And you're walking a tightrope here, right? You obviously want to take care of your health, and like you said, sort of harness your energy that you do have for being a dad, at home. But then at the same time, you're over here, you're like, well, I don't want to miss out on all these real estate deals and all this networking because I choose not to go to the bar, right, because I want to do my workout. So in comes your solution. So talk about real estate warriors.
Yeah, so a big case of FOMO, right? You don't want to miss out on meeting anyone. You don't want to miss out on hearing something. So, after a while, I thought and said, and went to some of the people I met and said, look, if I, had or planned a workout, would you come? And in this workout, there would be other real estate professionals for you to meet and network. And we could get a workout in, and we could build a relationship in a unique, different way. And you still come away with what you ultimately wanted, which is meeting new people that could be either referral partners or centers of influence in your world. And, I got enough attention, a handful of guys to do one. We did a workout, and it went really well. The word spread. We planned another 2 workouts, and, next thing we had 15 people in a room. And I had enough of a list of people who were willing to do this, and the message was starting to get propagated, that I decided to go to some of the boutique, workout shops here in New York, and just offer to take out a segment of time in their, their executions or whatever boutique fitness they were executing. And I would say, hey, look, it's going to be, 10, 20 executives that, I bet would be good candidates to be people you want to sign up. Just allow me to bring them in, and help me out with the price, make it more, I'll help subsidize it as well, and make it more palatable. And it caught on. So we decided to give it a name. We called it Real Estate Warriors, and it became an event. It started, like I said, with the 5 guys that I had mentioned, and it ended up being, at the end of it all, 20 guys and gals, or 40 rather, at the end of 2019, where we got a cycling class in. We shared some, after workout snacks, and everybody networked, and everybody woke up the next day feeling like, they did something really good for themselves.
Right. And you were saying earlier that people felt like they remembered that workout better. They remembered that bond versus like, oh, I forgot that night because I was, I had 3 beers and I forgot. And when I've seen study after study that shows that if you walk up to somebody and engage them in a conversation post workout, whether it's, friendly conversation or you're like trying to hit on a woman or whatever it is, like you're more likely to achieve a connection because both of you are feeling good. It's like you just had all this adrenaline and dopamine, and everything just feels good. And I would imagine that would be very beneficial in a real estate context.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's not something I thought of in the original kind of impetus of this entire thing. But what I realized after doing, we did 15 of these between 2018 and 2019, that at the end of it, not only do you feel good the next day, like you just said, Chris, you remember a lot more, right? You're more engaged, because after a workout, and I also read into this, later on, as far as, why do I remember more things? And it's not aside from just feeling good, but the hormones that are running through your body, that, there's a connectivity that you share with another individual. And it resonates deeper within, your entire framework and your body. So, what's interesting about that came a couple of taglines, along that kind of spirit of real estate warriors. It was, we sweat together, we make money together. And the other was, if you can make it through a workout, you could definitely make it through a real estate deal. So, those are some of the things that came out of it. It's been really it's been really something I've been proud of, because, we always try to impact people and add value from the business perspective. I never actually thought that you could actually do that from the personal, wellness perspective as well.
Yeah. And I've been a personal trainer since 2004, mostly one-on-ones. And so I've met people who are very successful, specifically in real estate as well. And, it's a consistent theme that, I would give all my money to maintain my health. And maybe that's a little bit of hyperbole. I'm sure they wouldn't give all of it, because then you have nothing to enjoy. But it's sort of a theme, like you don't want to sacrifice your health in pursuit of your business aspirations or anything like that. And I've always believed that those two can go in tandem, because when you're improving your health, like you said, everything else in your life gets better, right? You're a better father, you're a better business partner, you're a better friend. All those things kind of happen at the same time. Dorian, I'm looking at the clock, and I want to make sure we have time for your motivational speech. At the end of every episode, I like my participants to give their motivational speech. Let's say you're at a college graduation and you are the keynote speaker, and you are talking to this group of young adults, and your speech is called "How I Think You Can Get the Most Out of Your Life." So go very big picture, life principles, different things that have helped you to succeed along the way. And how would you recommend people get the most out of their lives?
Yeah, not to sound overly cliche, but, there's three words that immediately come to my mind that, we hear a lot about core values in life and business. And the ones that have, risen to the top of my mind are, health, wealth, and happiness, right? And that, that's the cliche part. I bet others have heard that, but take time to really understand what that means and what leads to your happiness, right? What are the true things that lead to your happiness, right? Relationships should be one of them, because one thing we learned from the lockdown is that human connection is a huge component of our, mental fitness or mental health. And health, wealth, and happiness always reminds me about that, right? But really spend some time to understand how important those things are, because like you said, you could make as much money as you humanly could, or however, just make billions of dollars. But if you physically can't do what you really want to do, you won't be happy. And if you're not happy, how many stories have we heard of billionaires, being the most unhappy, depressed, unfulfilled people? So, not to take away from the fact that you shouldn't make as much money as you can, you should. But, your question to me was, what's that macro perspective, is that have core values, understand what health, wealth, and happiness are, and make sure you're spending time on yourself. It's not about, the material elements that either dissipate or that don't matter as time goes.
Right. 100%. Dorian, how does somebody get in touch with you if they want to either, join your real estate warriors, or if they want to talk to you about real estate? How do they get in touch with you?
Yeah. So the easiest way is Dorian Lam, LinkedIn. I also have a website, dorianlam.com. I'm also publishing a white paper soon, so that should be out. That will be on that website as well. You can reach me through that. And then you can always reach me at my company. So that's cornerstonelandabstract.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dorian. I was really excited to tell this story, because I think just, what I believe in, health in the real world is, seeing examples where you kind of hit a roadblock where you need to be healthy. You kind of know what to do to be healthy, and it's just, your work, your career was sort of interfering with that. You created a very viable solution that turns out other people really enjoyed too, and they were looking for as well. So I really appreciate you telling that story today.
Of course, Chris. Again, thanks for having me and letting me share it.
Thanks for listening to the Health in the Real World show. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below. Visit mycorebalance.com to learn more.